Day 400 began not with silence, but with the low electric hum that had haunted humanity since the first ships blotted out the sky. A sound like the atmosphere itself was vibrating under the weight of the invaders. But this time something was different, and the people who had survived this long could feel it in their bones. For months humanity had hidden, scurrying like rats in the ruins of their cities, scavenging food, whispering in the dark, while the machines stalked the streets above. But on this morning, the resistance didn't run. They gathered, their leaders finally ready to reveal what they had been building all this time. Colonel Ramirez stood at the center of the underground bunker, his uniform torn and faded, his eyes bloodshot but bright as he told the ragged survivors that today was the day that after 400 days of terror they had finally found the enemy. S weakness and had a weapon capable of striking back. No one cheered, not at first, because hope had become something dangerous, a fragile thing that broke too easily. But then the colonel laid out the plans, showed them the captured alien core humming in its containment field. And for the first time in months, the room erupted in voices, in something that sounded almost like life. Above ground, the world was unrecognizable. Skyscrapers stripped to skeletons, roads cracked and split with alien growths, sky full of ships that drifted like silent predators. But hidden beneath it all was a network of tunnels, carved by human hands, connected by stolen alien tech. And now it was going to be the spear they drove straight into the heart of the invasion. The mission teams moved at dawn, armed not with rifles but with pulse cannons and shaped charges designed to overload the alien relay. Nodes that pulsed like glowing tumors across every city because Ramirez had learned the truth. The nodes were the invaders, linked to the hive mind, and without them the machines would be blind and deaf. Sergeant Vale led the first team through the shattered remains of Chicago, moving from shadow to shadow as the great harvesters prowled overhead, and when they reached the first node, Vale placed the charge himself, whispering a prayer, before triggering the detonator and turning the alien structure into a smoking crater. Across the continent, other teams did the same, striking at the same hour. Coordinated by the Resistance's last satellite uplink, and as the nodes went dark one by one, the ships above began to drift, their formation breaking for the first time since the war began, their terrible hum faltering into static. The aliens struck back, dropping hunter drones into the ruins, but the Resistance had prepared for this too, luring them into choke points and bringing them down with electromagnetic pulses, tearing them apart with the same precision that had once been used on humans. And for the first time, it was the invaders who fled. By nightfall, the first city was free of patrols, the first in 400 days, and the people who crawled out of the tunnels wept as they saw the sky unobstructed for the first time, stars shining where ships had once floated. But they didn't have long to celebrate, because the next phase of the plan was about to begin. In Nevada, hidden beneath the shell of what had once been an Air Force base, the Resistance unveiled the weapon they called the Lance, a railgun the size of a freight train, built from scavenged parts and alien alloy, designed to fire a payload directly into orbit and pierce the heart of the mothership that had commanded the war since the first day. Vale was chosen to lead the assault riding in the armored convoy that would deliver the Lance's payload to its launch point. And as they crossed the dead desert, they saw the sky fill once more with the enemy. S-ships converging on the last human stronghold like sharks scenting blood. The battle that followed was the largest of the entire war. Machines descending in swarms, humans firing until barrels melted, until the air stank of ozone and burning metal. And though half the convoy was lost in the approach, Vale and a handful of others made it through, dragging the payload by hand when the last truck failed. As the lance fired, the ground shook and the air cracked like thunder, the projectile streaking upward in a brilliant arc. And seconds later, the sky lit up as the mothership took the hit, its massive hull splitting apart as fire spilled into the upper atmosphere like a false dawn. Across the world, the remaining ships went still, their weapons falling silent, their engines failing. And one by one they fell from the sky, crashing into oceans and fields, leaving craters where they landed, leaving nothing but smoke and silence in their wake. When the sun rose the next morning, humanity stepped into a world that was broken but theirs again. The air no longer vibrating, the silence no longer ominous but cleansing. And though the losses were beyond counting, the war was over. Ramirez stood on the rubble of the bunker and raised the flag that had been folded in his pack for 400 days, his voice breaking as he told the survivors that this was their dawn, that they had paid the price, but earned the right to live free again. Vale walked among the wreckage, past the shattered hull of a drone, past the bodies of friends and foes alike. And though his heart was heavy, he felt something bloom inside him that he hadn't felt since before the invasion. The certainty that humanity could rebuild. They buried their dead at sunset, marked the graves with what stones they could find, and when night fell, the stars seemed brighter than ever, as though the universe itself had been watching and was now bearing witness to what they had survived. And as the fires burned low, and the first real sleep in months came to them, humanity dreamed not of fear, but of a future where they would never again be silent, never again be prey, a future built on the ashes of the day they fought back and won.